Okay, good evening. My name is Lynn Davenport. I live in Dallas. I have 3 kids in Richardson ISD. I appreciate you saving the best for last, and I'm not talking about us. Actually, I gained quite a bit of wisdom from Tammy, and I can't remember her last name, but she's in Senator Colcourt's district. And then Charles, the gentleman who had the child with spina bifida. I thought there was some really good stuff that we learned at the end of the day. I do wish that we had a panel of parents. I feel like that's kind of a void. We get 2 minutes, and it's just, I know, we get 2 minutes. I'm already 30 seconds in.
Yeah.
So I just
27 million, which 2 parents go?
No, I know, but there's just not enough representation. So I have some concerns about District of Innovation. I'm not here to argue. I'm concerned that it might be a mirage of local control. I mean, that's what you, Senator Rodriguez, you had asked about where's the innovation? You know, what's the true innovation here? I'm afraid they're going to cram more kids in the classroom. You give them the liberty to, if they don't have to apply for a waiver, then are they going to add more kids because they can? I'm concerned that they'll hire teachers without certification because we're really desperate. Because of the STAR test, it's pushed out good teachers and people that are, they're too smart to put up with it. So they're out, they're getting out. And so now we're desperate for teachers. Our junior high has hired people over the phone. Also, I don't know that I want to give the liberty to our school district to change the start date. And so I'm concerned if we start on the 22nd and then they want to move it to 2 weeks earlier, then my kids have to be at school, not for, but more for extracurriculars. They have to go 2 weeks before that. So then you're cutting into July. Then you're cutting into our summer. I mean, it's already cutting into the summer. So the other concerns are about the ESAs. And so, I've pulled my child out before. My youngest, I pulled him out for private school for 2 years. I would have loved to have had that $7,500 or whatever the amount is. But I know that my private school, it was $10,000, and there's some that are $18,000, $20,000 in Dallas. I don't know any of them that are $9,000 or even $8,000 that was quoted earlier. So how do you make up the difference if you are a family in poverty? So that's not really a choice for them. I agree with Senator Garcia and Senator Huffines. I mean, I'm on both sides of this. I struggle with it too. I may need the option.
You really don't agree with both of us on the same topic, do you?
Well, what I'm saying is, no, I just agree. I think you were right about.
You set the fire alarm again.
Yeah, but I might need the option to get out. I mean, I have all 3 kids in public
with
school.
The fire alarm, I can do that again.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I'm concerned about the families that can't afford to make up the difference. I don't understand how it fixes the problem. I want to fix the real problem, which is why we're having to bail on the public school. And I want to pay the teachers so we can attract the best. I want to fix it, like what Tammy said. I think she's right. She's right on. And then the last thing was I want there to be evidence-based, time-tested curriculum. I want a choice of the curriculum, and that's what I'm finding. That's why you've gotten out, and why I had to pull my youngest out. He wasn't getting what he needed, and so anyway, I think that's pretty much it.
Your time's up.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in competition? What does competition do for everybody involved?
I don't with the public school. I believe that we need to have the freedom to choose to go to a private school if you don't want to go to the public school. I think we need options. I think they all have their merits. But I believe in the 10th. What?
What grocery store do you like?
I go to about 5 different ones.
Why do you go to 5 different ones?
Because they don't all give me what I need.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if you just had one.
I told you, I'm in agreement. I mean, I might be able to, yeah.
I'm just trying to
I know, but we got to fix
get
the
this
public
out there that
schools.
The idea of improving education, sometimes competition is the best thing. Our Olympic athletes wouldn't be what our Olympic athletes were if they hadn't had a lot of stiff competition going up through this.
I don't think it works that way in public school, though.
To work. Why? It's the same. It's across our whole country. Competition. Look at your phone. You know, if AT&T was still the only game in town, you know what you'd have? A landline. Or you'd have that car, what do we call that, bag phone with a car battery in it? It had about 20-minute talk time. Because that's all you need, right? Who needs to talk more than 20 minutes a day?
Well, I'll say we're getting about 100 refugees this week at my high school. We're full. We don't have any room for them, but they're coming. We have to educate them, right?
Absolutely.
So we're, when you have everyone bailing on the public schools, who's left behind?
But that's what I'm saying, though. And I try to express this earlier. I'll be quick. We're not bailing on the traditional public schools. We want them all to do better. But I'm telling you, we've already seen it with some of the charter schools. They've come in, and it's awakened the public school that maybe they're being complacent isn't good enough, and they've upped their game. And now we're seeing charter schools and some public schools actually working together, which is the benefit of all the students, which is the bottom line.
Yeah.
I don't really, at the end of the day, I hate to say it, but I want the student to be educated. I don't even care where they get it. If I get it done cheaply from the state level, wherever, and it's a better education, that's what I want.
But you go to a charter school, you're still going to have Common Core. You're still going to have the implement. Look at the Gulen
all right, we're
schools.
changing the topic.
I know.
You're going back to Common Core. Let's stay on topic because this really getting
But
late.
I do agree with both sides of it.
Let me do the math real quick. Almost 10 hours. Gosh, is that really right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I just want to, no one is trying to tear anything down. And I think one of the best quotes have said earlier today, this is not a winner-take-all competition. This is not where whoever wins gets everything. It's about providing additional opportunities for every student to meet their particular needs. And sometimes just by upping the competition a little bit, I go to HEB in Friendswood, little old Friendswood. We have sushi in HEB. Do you think HEB would have sushi if it weren't for competition? Why? Why would they go to the extra trouble getting stuff in from anywhere else if there was no competition? But they're driving this, and we're all benefiting from the competition has driven these things to heights that no one ever dreamed of.
It's time for Meg to talk.
Pardon?
No,
okay,
I know.
But that's what I'm saying. And this is not about winner take all. We're not trying to take down public schools. We're trying to find. We're doing a lot of things. I'm trying to help public schools with innovation zones. They've all talked about the regulations we have them under. I'm trying to get them out from under some of those regulations. And I'm only doing it for schools that are performing well. Not every school. If you're not doing the job, I'm not letting you out of anything. Until we can get that up to speed, then I want to give you the freedom to do that. But if you're not getting it done, we have to take measures to help. We've sped up the process. We've talked about the improvement required schools. We had to fight this. It used to take 6 or 7 years before the state could step in.
They're not all failing schools, though. Like I said,
no,
they're just drill and
not.
kill schools. They become star-obsessed schools. The teachers are working just as hard.
My point is, we moved it to 2 or 3 years, and we had a fight to do that. Who wants to leave a kid in a failing school for 6 years?
But the definition of failing, it's an invalid assessment. It is an invalid assessment.
I'm getting off topic. It's getting so late, I'm just starting to ramble.
You don't need to give me any more floor time. Go, Meg.
Thank you, though. Meg?
Yes. Well, I had a prepared statement, but now I have some
Don't
other things
use
I'd
your
like
prepared
to say.
statement. Speak from the
after
heart.
sitting here for so many hours. My name is Meg Bakich. I'm from Highland Park ISD, and I have 5 children. And, this is my 3rd time sitting here listening to how do we solve and fix failing schools. And I was here yesterday, and I spoke, and it was all about, let's bring in computers and let's innovate. And, I'm listening to you talk about competition and how do we change things. But I think it's important to recognize these are children. These are human beings, and they haven't changed since the beginning of time. And neither do how we learn has not changed. So I'm in a very advanced school who's up to speed. We've got every gadget you can think of. We have every computer application you can think of. And I made the choice, as I saw a shift away from academics. I mean, who wants to sit and walk by a classroom and see kindergartners with headphones on staring at screens? That's not what we want. And you asked me yesterday, you said, are you against technology? I'm definitely not against technology. Technology has its place, but it's a tool. It's a tool for a teacher if they want to use it. It's not the means to educate children. So when you bring in companies like Reasoning Mind or iStation into schools to teach math or to teach reading, that's a problem. And we have to remember, we're talking about little children, 5, 6, 7, 8. They don't belong in front of screens. Period. End of story.
And if you'll notice, the schools are doing that aren't doing it at the earliest grades. They're sharing them as part of the deal. We're talking about the 1-to-1 we started in like 3rd and 4th grade moving up.
Who wants their 9 or 10-year-old on a computer? Again,
Are they on computers at home? Are they playing video games?
okay, but as a parent, when I send my child to school, I send my child to school to learn to read, to write, to do math, to know history. And
Math.
I expect there to be a teacher teaching my child as it has been since the beginning of time. So I'll quickly to say, my youngest I have pulled out and I've put in a classical school. They literally use pens, paper, books, and they have great teachers. And it's a lot cheaper to educate in that manner. So when I hear people say, oh, we have failing schools, let's throw more money at it. Well, Senator Campbell said, we've thrown all this money at it and we're seeing no results because we need to go back to what works. And if we took all those millions of dollars and made the teaching profession and held it up as it should be and paid great teachers a salary that they deserve to teach our children, the next generation of Americans, that's how you fix failing schools. So I'm hearing all of these different remedies, and I think what bothers me the most sitting there is all of the panels are salesmen of some sort. They're vendors, they're coming to sell their wares, and everybody here's like, oh, that sounds so great, this new computer program, this new technology, I'm with this group, I'm with that group. Well, I'm just a mom. I'm a taxpayer, and I think that every child deserves to have the education my youngest is receiving, which is just a classical traditional education. And it infuriates me when I look around, especially in low-income areas, and those children are not receiving an education of opportunity. It is shackling the most disadvantaged in this country, and it's keeping them down.
And that's where you agree with us. You're agreeing with us.
Yes, but when you say innovation, human beings haven't innovated. We still learn the same way. So when you think about it, I mean, the early 1900s, I can't pass an 8th grade test from the 1900s. And I graduated from the University of Notre Dame. I'm no dummy. And I got a good education. But what I'm saying is, today, the average high schooler graduates reading at a 7th grade level. I'm in an incredibly great school district. I love my school. I've had 2 children graduate from it. I'm going to have 2 more that will graduate from it. And they're doing great. But
And do you understand, though, that your experience is not what 5.2 million kids are experiencing today? That's what we're having to face.
Well, what I'm saying to you is it's not rocket science. We are trying to make something that very difficult that's not rocket science. Let's be honest, homeschool children do better than most public school children. And you know what it is? It's a mom that cares, or a dad, and it's a piece of paper, and it's a pencil, and it's a book. Okay, we need great teachers. That does not cost, I mean, the teachers are expensive.
1-to-1 teachers is pretty expensive.
You don't need it. Yeah, but you really don't need.
I'm just saying, that's a limited experience. That there are some parents who can do that.
No, I'm not saying, no, I'm saying in our public schools, I mean, you can put 20 kids in a classroom with a great teacher. You know what, put 2 teachers in there. All the money that we're spending on, I mean, I just read it in 2018, education is going to be a $60 billion business. I mean, we've got philanthropists throwing millions at it. Why? Because they're making money off of our kids. I mean, Texas has the opportunity to be different than every other state and to set our own standards and to go back to what we know works. We don't need all of that. We just need a great, strong curriculum rooted in academics and great teachers. And if we put our money there, I think we'll find success. That's what I think.
Thank you. Senator Colforth.
Yeah, I want y'all to know, maybe Brenham ISD is way behind, but my kids they don't have headsets on, and they still do things with pens and paper and have textbooks. So, I mean, I think that there are ISDs out there that are still giving the classical education, and maybe that's just in rural Texas, I don't know, because we just don't.
Y'all don't have Google Chromebooks or Google Classrooms or?
They will when the E-rate comes through. You'll have all of it. The E-rate that just talked about yesterday, the superhighway.
Federal.
Well, and I was in
Everyone's
Health
gonna
and
be
Human Services,
automated.
so I'm going to review that. But let me just say this: there are still I mean, I'm sure there's data tracking of my children, but they still.